Every time 50 Cent posts something about Diddy, the reaction is always the same. People say he's obsessed. They say he can't let things go. They say he's just trolling for attention. But obsession is messy. It's emotional. It jumps from topic to topic and burns out fast. What 50 has been doing for years doesn't look like that at all. It looks deliberate. Same name, same timing, same pressure points. That's not fixation. That's someone who refuses to forget. So instead of asking why 50 keeps talking, maybe the better question is why so many people hoped he wouldn't. Because once you zoom out and look at the timeline, this starts to feel less like trolling and more like documentation. Now add the timing into it. Netflix releases footage and stories the industry avoided for over a decade, and suddenly conversations that used to get shut down are back on the table. That doesn't feel random. That feels like context finally catching up. For years, these moments lived in whispers, private conversations, and warnings that never made it public. Now they're being re-examined with fresh eyes. And once that happens, old behavior doesn't disappear. It gets reinterpreted. To understand why 50 never let this go, you have to understand what Chris Lighty meant to him. Chris wasn't just a manager. He was a stabilizer. Someone who understood artists, executives, contracts, and egos at the same time. He could walk into almost any room and be taken seriously. For 50, Chris represented protection in an industry that doesn't protect anyone for long. He was someone who could tell the truth without creating danger. When Chris was alive, there was a buffer between 50 and the worst parts of the business. When that buffer disappeared, everything felt exposed. What's important is how 50 reacted after Chris died. He didn't accuse anyone publicly. He didn't run to interviews demanding answers. He didn't turn grief into spectacle. He got quieter. And in certain environments, silence doesn't mean peace. It means someone is watching. Now, before we go any further, if you rock with the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more hip-hop news like this. It really helps the channel grow. Here's where the conversation gets uncomfortable. Chris Lighty wasn't just connected to one side of the industry. He sat between powerful forces that didn't fully trust each other. And in a business built on access and leverage, being the person in the middle is one of the most dangerous positions you can hold. 50 represented disruption. He didn't ask permission or follow traditional rules. Diddy represented structure, access, control, and influence. Chris was one of the few people who could communicate with both sides without being pushed out. That made him incredibly valuable and incredibly vulnerable. Being in the middle doesn't get rewarded, it gets crushed. The music industry rarely destroys people loudly. Most of the time, pressure quietly. Financially, legally, socially. Chris was carrying weight from every direction, and when something finally breaks, the person holding everything together usually absorbs the impact. That's why his death didn't just create grief, it created fear. After he was gone, the industry didn't become safer. It became quieter. Names stopped being said. Questions stopped being asked. Silence like that isn't accidental. Silence is often strategy. Then more losses followed within the same orbit. Different roles, different circumstances, same uneasy feeling. Chris Lighty, Shakir Stewart, Kim Porter. This isn't about accusations or criminal claims. It's about patterns of proximity and pressure. Power doesn't just influence people. It concentrates stress, and the closer you are to it, the heavier that weight becomes. Each time one of these figures passed, the reaction followed the same script. Brief condolences, no serious public discussion, no long reflection. Everyone moved on. That response speaks volumes. Because when an entire industry avoids questions, it's rarely because there are none to ask. It's because asking them comes with consequences. This is why 50s looked reckless to the public for years. He said things openly that others only whispered privately, not because he had proof of crimes, but because the structure felt wrong, the outcomes felt wrong, and the silence felt wrong. This was never about attention. It was about vigilance. When you lose someone you trusted in an environment like this, you don't forget, you watch. Now fast forward to today. Lawsuits align with long-standing rumors. Old footage suddenly makes sense. Institutions start paying attention. The past isn't being proven, it's being re-examined. And once that happens, things that used to be ignored become impossible to dismiss. Patterns don't shout, they stack. Do you think 50 has been stirring drama or preserving a memory the industry hoped would fade away? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications for more hip-hop news like this. Also, if you enjoy this video, click on this next video where I dive even more. I'll catch you in the next one.